The following program is sponsored. The opinions and statements made by the hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the views of WBOB or its parent company, the Chesapeake Portsmouth Broadcasting Corporation.
It's time for Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. Angela and Howard talk about what's new in real estate and answer your buying and selling questions. To participate in today's show, call 222-TALK. That's 222-8255. And now, here are Angela and Howard.
Good morning, Northeast Florida. What an exciting, wonderful weekend this is. People are partying this weekend.
Is that because it's TPC?
And Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day weekend. It is Mother's Day. You know, I want to start out talking about Mother's Day. And I do this every year, doing a special little thing about Mother's Day and Father's Day. So I want to do that. You know, Mother's Day and Father's Day is a special occasion because, you know what? Every single one of us has a mother or a father. Now, they may not be around anymore, or they may live in another place, but we have telephones and we have Skypes that we can see them, or FaceTime apps, whatever. And most of us send them cards or take them out to dinner. But there is actually a way to make it a little bit more special.
How's that?
And that is to think about, before you see them, to think about a time in your life where they did something, or you did something with them that was really, really special. And maybe it was a time when you were only 5 years old. Maybe it was a time when you were 30 years old. Maybe it was a time where you sat down with them, or they sat down with you, not they, but your mother sat down with you and just had a really nice chat, or made a big difference in your life. Maybe it was a time when you were sad. Maybe it was a time when your boyfriend broke up with you and she comforted you. Maybe it was a time right before your wedding where she sat with you and told you about how wonderful things were, that your life was going to be. Maybe it was a sad time. Whatever. Maybe it was a time when the two of you went to the movies together or went away for the weekend. Whatever it was, think about one or two or three of those times. And when you talk to your mom today, then talk to her about when that time was. And it's going to bring a smile to yourself. It's going to bring a smile to her. It may even bring a tear to you and to her. But it'll be a great time for the two of you, and it'll make it even more special. And if your mom is not here with you anymore, just spend a few minutes thinking about one of those times that the two of you had. Now, I want to change it up.
And then have a good cry?
And then have a good cry. Absolutely, absolutely. But there's another thing that you should do with Mother's Day, because we have a lot of mothers that, you know, like are mothers of teenagers or of kids. And the husband is out there thinking, oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take her out for dinner, or I'm going to give her a gift. And they think, oh, that's what she wants. You know what? That may not be what she wants. I ran into someone this week, and I said to her, and this is a mother of three boys. So there are 4 males in her household. She has her husbands, of course, and she runs that household. And I said, what are you going to do, or what do you want to do for Mother's Day? And she looked at me and she said, all I want is to be left alone. Because every day she makes breakfast, lunch, and dinner and runs the household from 6:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. All I want, she said, is for people to leave me alone for 12 hours on one particular day. I don't want to hear anybody ask me to do anything. And I thought that's interesting, because so many mothers go from morning till night taking care of their family. So don't just take your wife out.
I would say don't take it for granted. That to me sounds like she's being taken for granted, and she doesn't feel appreciated if all she really wants is some time off.
Yeah, so find out really what your wife or the mother of your children really, really wants, and that's what you should do.
Yep.
So give an appreciation out there to all mothers, and I want to thank you. I want to give a big thank you out to all mothers. And Angela, you of course are a mother, and you've got 3 kids and 2 grandchildren. So I want to say thank you to being a mother to all of your children out there. And I want to say thank you to my ex-wife for being a good mother to my 2 children. My mother is no longer here, but she was a good mother to my brothers and myself. So thank you to all the mothers out there, and thank all of our mothers for listening. So that's how I want to start the show today. It has nothing to do with real estate, but it's an important message out there. So take time, think about what was special about your mother, and talk to your mother about what made her special in your life. It will bring joy to you, and it will bring joy to her, other than just picking up the phone and say, "Hi, Mom, happy Mother's Day."
So interestingly enough, you said it has nothing to do with real estate, but I sort of disagree with you, which is not unusual. I tend to disagree with you a lot these days.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, you know what I think about is it's generally the mom who picks the house. So in real estate, they're looking at kitchens and bathrooms and, the needs of their family when they're selecting a house. And it's almost always the woman who gets the final decision.
You are right about that.
Yes, I am. So see, it's quite related to real estate because it is the women who create the home and make the nest. And
well, you did bring it back to real estate. Good job.
I have a way of doing that. I bring everything back to real estate.
We had a great week. We had a pre-signing for a seller, and that's a benefit that we do. If the seller wants to pack up and leave ahead of time, they can pre-sign. So Wendy pre-signed yesterday. It was such an easy thing. That way they don't have to be around. And the process takes such a short period of time. It only takes about 10 minutes, and they can then be on their way. So we did that. And we also are doing something.
I really appreciate her business, too, because that was the second time. Because we helped her buy that house when she came to Florida and then sell it as she's headed back to New York.
Yeah, that's a condo down in the World Golf Village area. And boy, has that come up in value.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes.
One of the other interesting things that we are doing that I don't think too many other realtors do, this is a unique situation that, and I want to explain it because it has to do, or it can have to do with an estate type sale where, sometimes people pass on and their relatives don't live in a local area. And sometimes the house needs to be cleared out. Sometimes it needs then to be sold. And the way to maximize, your return, or not necessarily return because you're not selling it and then rebuying it, but to maximize your income from it is to perhaps paint and put new carpeting in and get it cleaned out. And we are in the process of kind of acting like not a flipper, but a renovator, in that there's a house that we're working on that we got the yard cleaned out. We got the house cleaned out. We're having it painted, getting new carpet, new appliances, getting the house cleaned, some general repairs, almost like renovating it. And we are kind of coordinating that for the seller that lives out of state. So that's one of the services that Angela and I provide. And I don't know if many realtors want to take on that task, but it is something that we do, and we can help do that for some folks. So if you ever know someone that needs that, we are prepared to do that. So give us a call and we can do that. So you're going to be hearing about this house. It's in Oakleaf, and it'll be ready in a few weeks. Sometimes you can hire a liquidation company to sell everything, and we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of a estate sale sometime later in the show.
Yes.
So we got all kinds of things coming up. By the way, I want to talk about great service that I got from the Sears outlet store in Mandarin. So a big shout out to Cynthia, who gave me some great service yesterday.
You're pretty good about thanking people for good service.
Well, good service is real important because we are in the service business. So when somebody gives us great service, I want to point it out. So if somebody needs something from the Sears outlet store, they can go see Cynthia. All right. So we want to thank everybody for listening for the first quarter hour. We got some great stuff coming up. I bet you didn't know. We got a contest that has to do with Mother's Day. A Mother's Day contest. So right after the break, we're going to tell everybody about that. We're going to talk about estate sales, a landlord-tenant tip, and a scam. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Hey, WBOB listeners. It's your realtor on the radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I don't just do the radio show. We are active realtors. When it's time to buy, we will interview you to determine your specific housing needs. Distance to work, style of home, school needs, distance to place of worship, kids' activities, lifestyles, number of bedrooms, budget, and so much more. In short, we do our very best to find you your perfect home. We won't waste your time showing you houses that don't fit your needs. Whether you're moving up, moving into your first home, or now an empty nester, you can trust us for the most important purchase of your life. It's what we do. It's what we'll do for you. Experience the Angela and Howard Team Advantage. Call us at 421-7950.
Is there something going wrong with your garage door or opener? My name is Peter, and I am the owner of Quality Door Service. And my basic garage door repair starts at just $125, and that includes parts. Included with your repair, I will instruct you about fire and safety, protection from hurricane and burglary, and maintenance on your garage door. Call me today at 588-4817. That's 588-4817. Angela and Howard did.
Are you buying a property being sold by HUD? As a buyer, you can select Watson Title Services of North Florida as your settlement agent. Avoid having to deal with out-of-town companies, and make sure you get the world-class customer service of Watson Title Services that Angela and Howard have come to expect. Call them at 461-3220 when you're looking at buying a HUD property to ensure your purchase goes through as smoothly as possible. That's 461-3220. Angela and Howard do.
There's finally a mortgage lender in Jacksonville that sees financing differently. With 20 years' experience, CMG Financial understands that the most important purchase in your life, your home, deserves the right mortgage. Tim McConnell at CMG Financial will work to customize the best financing option for you. Angela and I recommend CMG Financial to all our customers. Give Tim a call at 528-2103. That's 528-2103. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage, Inc., NMLS number 1820, and licensed as a mortgage lender servicer by the Office of Financial Regulation, number MLD 375, individual MLS number 181046.
This segment of Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard is brought to you by CMG Financial. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Welcome back, everybody. So excited to be here today. The weather's not quite as perky as it normally is, not quite as bright and sunshiny, but it's still a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Well, you know, it's good that it's not quite as hot as it was the last couple of days, because there's going to be thousands and thousands of people out at TPC, and we don't want a lot of people, keeling over from the heat exhaustion.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe some of them are even going to get rained on.
It's possible.
So, well, that'll cool things off a little bit.
It's possible, but I'm showing houses today, so, I don't mind the rain. It's fine.
Hey, did I inspire any of our listeners, you think, by doing something special for their moms or their spouses?
Maybe.
To think of a special time.
Can I give you my kids' telephone numbers, though, and you call them?
And tell them to think about a special time.
Tell them to do something for me.
That they can call you and say,
one of mine's on a plane to Colorado.
Remember when?
Yeah.
Remember when?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember.
Do your contest.
Do my contest. Okay, it's about Mother's Day.
Yes.
What was the earliest year that Mother's Day was celebrated in every one of the states of the United States? Now, everybody get your Google.
I know, I was fixing to say. Probably someone's just going to
not while you're
Google
driving.
That. Do you know the history behind it and everything?
Oh, I did my research.
I know you did.
Of course I did.
I want to talk about something that happened this week. Involves a mother. So, do you know what SWIP swap is?
I do.
You do?
Well, that's because you tell me. You know, every once
Alan
in a while you
doesn't
tell
know.
me
So
about
I'm going to
a
have to
deal
tell.
that you
For the
find.
people who don't know. So when you're on Facebook, there's these groups you can go to called Swip Swap. So it's like an online garage sale. So you can sell the things you want to sell. And the nice thing is that they tailor the groups. So they're closed groups. You know what I mean by that, right? But you just ask to be in, and usually someone will let you in because there's 20,000 people on them or 10,000 or whatever. And so you can do it by location. So if you wanted to buy something that somebody had for sale, it's better if it's around the corner from your house than driving all the way clear across town. So some of them are divided by, area in town, and some are by category, like kids or cars or man cave or household goods or baby clothes or whatever.
But Swip Swap is local. I mean, you can't
It's
join
local.
a Swip Swap in California, right?
No, you wouldn't do that.
Okay.
You wouldn't do that. So anyway, so I was looking for something this week, and I was on a Swip Swap site, and it said ISO, which means in search of realtor. And I was like, well, what an odd thing to shop for on Swip Swap, a realtor. So I looked, and there was about 32 realtors had responded at that point.
How long had this in search of been on? Does it tell you that?
20 minutes or so.
20 minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
And a bunch of realtors.
And a bunch of realtors had already responded. And so I decided to, I'll reach out I'll put my information in there. I don't really know why. I mean, that's not generally how I search for customers, is on Swip Swap. But I did. And so it was very interesting because she called me back. And then when I looked again, there was 54 people. Well, turns out that was just on one site because she had actually put in her search of realtor on 4 different sites.
Did she call you back and 20 others? Or
No.
Well, this is getting more interesting.
It is interesting because here's kind of a God story, okay? So when I'm not all that happy, one of the things I do is serve other people. Because I've always been trained that way from my mother, that if you want to feel better about yourself, go help other people, because it helps you put things in perspective, right? That whatever you think's going on with you is probably not as bad as you think it is. And so anyway, this is sort of how the circumstance goes. So as it turns out, we start talking, and she has no idea why she selected me out of that group. And I knew for sure I was already praying about helping somebody. But she indicated that she had worked with 3 other realtors.
Can I ask you a question? Can I interrupt you for a second and ask? Did you write something, or did you just say, I'm a realtor?
No, I wrote something. I wrote about having a team, and that there's 3 realtors on the team, and that, we could help them find whatever it is they're looking for. And usually one of the 3 of us is always available, and, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Like, it brings me joy to help people find the right house, not just a house. And so I'm sure some of those details surely must have resonated with her.
Okay.
So anyway, here's the thing. When I said what I said was, tell me about your experience with the other realtors and what you didn't like, so I make sure I don't do that. And then what you did like, so I could repeat it if that works for her. So she started sharing, and the sad part of this for me was that she got bad service because her price tag wasn't high enough. And she felt like that the realtors were only interested in servicing families who were buying expensive homes.
I hate that.
And I thought, what a travesty this is, and how terrible this reflects on our industry. And and I get that you make more money because it's a percentage, the commission is a percentage of sales price. So obviously we do. We make more money, but I just don't know how at the end of the day you don't service everyone. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the price range is like $160,000. It's not horrible. It's not $40,000. I mean, there's money to be made. And the deal is, that's it. Everybody deserves to be helped. And to be helped by someone who's smart, and someone who's good, and someone who's caring, and someone who wants to help them find a house. So I feel really fortunate to have stepped into this place with her so that I can demonstrate God's love for her. You know what I mean? That it's not a price tag. I don't care how much money it is. I care about, here's what I love about her. She's young. She's got a little baby. Her husband's in the Navy. They're my perfect dream family, right? I love dealing with young families and especially military families. And I'm just, it's not the only kind of customer I have. Obviously, I got the whole spectrum, but I'm just so fortunate that she picked me, even though she can't verbalize why. Because I did ask her. And the other thing was the Facebook thing that happened, it shut down her computer, her Facebook site, because so many realtors responded.
But they didn't know that she was a first-time homebuyer.
No, they didn't know any of that.
Right.
She just said, I'm in search of a realtor.
Well, I'm glad you tell that story, and that's why we report on things on our show about first-time homebuyer programs and bond money that is available for first-time home buyers. And you know what I have found, well, we both have found over time, is the most appreciative people, particularly when we get to the closing table, the happiest people
Crying.
are the ones that are buying their first home.
Yes, it's a whole different process.
It really is.
By the time you're dealing with someone who's bought 6, 7, 8 houses, they look at me like I'm their employee. And I'm not. I team up with them to find the right house, but I'm not their employee. And when you're helping someone who's a first-time home buyer, they look to you with expectation that you're going to do something, that you're going to make it happen for them, and that they see that you're joining forces with them, not that you're their employee.
It's the same thing when people are selling their first house, too. The first-time home seller, they really look to us and take our advice on what to do to sell their home. If somebody's selling their 6th house, it's, okay, what are you going to do different than every other agent that's come here?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We do things different to get their house sold, and we're going to tell everybody about a house that we're selling in Palencia, which is a guard-gated, or part of the community is guard-gated, and this particular home is.
Golf course. It's a beautiful community.
It's a beautiful house that we're going to be telling you about later. But, basically is, what are you going to do different than everybody else?
Right.
And we are. But anyway, back to your part. It's great that we have customers like that, and I think it is what's special about you and about us, that we care about everybody, whether they are a first-time home buyer buying a $120,000 townhouse or a $820,000 penthouse on the ocean. Whatever it is, we love helping them and finding the home that is right for them. So I'm glad you shared that story.
Yes.
Thank you. So
yes,
when are you
and to all my realtor friends out there who, we have a lot of realtors who listen to this show. I seriously hope that you do not treat people like this, because the first realtor they got was referred to them from another realtor who didn't have time to work with them.
Yeah.
And then they said he was a Christian fella and he'd help them. And then he didn't have time to work with them. And then the next fella was also a Christian fella. And, and I'm thinking, where's our Christian values? We don't have time to work with the least of these people? Really?
Yeah.
Get it together, y'all. Make our industry look good. Let's go.
I love that story. That's a great story. There's another interesting part of that. My son, I think he's going to be very, very successful one day.
Sure. He'll be just like you.
Well, but one day, very, very soon, he just graduated from Florida State last week, and I've been training him well in the idea of buying real estate. But his first home is probably going to be a $150,000 townhouse. Now, it's obviously going to be, you and I are going to help him with that. But one day he's probably going to be buying a $1 million home. It may be 20 years from now, but one day he's going to be that big buyer. But at some point, every $1 million buyer or $5 million buyer buys a $150,000 home. You got to start someplace.
Got to start somewhere.
So,
yep.
Hey,
Treat
nobody has guessed the contest yet, which is, I want to repeat it.
They were captivated by my story.
It was. What year was Mother Day celebrated in every one of the states in our great country? And then I'm going to give you some more Mother's Day trivia. But we got lots more stuff to talk about here on Real Estate Radio, talking about real estate. We're going to answer your questions, too, so you can call us at 222-8255, and we'll be right back. Stay with us, everybody.
Ed Dean, Mike Gallagher, Dennis Prager, The Savage Nation, Mark Levin, Laura Ingram, WBOB, AM 600 and FM 101.1. The Answer.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump getting ready to deliver his first commencement address as president this morning. He'll be speaking at Liberty University in Southwest Virginia. The leader of that Christian school, Jerry Falwell Jr., was among President Trump's earliest and most vocal supporters during the campaign last year. A huge cyber extortion attack has affected dozens of nations, and that's causing a lot of institutions, including hospitals and some government agencies, to try to scramble to catch up. Most cybersecurity experts say it could have been avoided if those same corporations and other agencies would have taken advantage of a patch that was provided by Microsoft to help protect its operating system. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average on Monday will be opening at 20,897 after a bit of a loss on Friday. It gave up 23 points. International oil prices were up 1 penny a barrel. This is SRN News.
Hi, this is Roger, and I just want to take a minute to brag about our home here at the Salem Center office building. It's a completely modern and recently redecorated office complex, conveniently located near many of the area's popular destinations. We're right off JTB, Phillips Highway, and I-95, only minutes from the Bay Meadows Town Center and downtown areas. And we're looking for a few friends who would like to lease office space. Rates are reasonable, and in fact, they're much less than what you'd expect to pay for high-quality office space. So whether you're looking for a single office, multiple offices, or a whole suite, we can help you. The Salem Center offers shared conference room space and many other amenities. Just call our leasing manager at 861-0444. That's 861-0444. Don't wait. These great offices won't last long. Call 861-0444 or learn more at salemcenter.com. This year marks the 60th anniversary of Boger Shoes on Park Street here in Jacksonville. In order for a family business to celebrate 60 years in business, they must be doing something right. And that something is good old-fashioned customer service. For 60 years, Boger Shoes has been providing orthopedic and diabetic shoes for thousands of customers in Northeast Florida. Boger Shoes specializes in extra wide width shoes, and they offer free evaluations and fittings by 3 board-certified podorthists on staff. With a doctor's prescription, they can custom make inserts in their on-site lab. And just in time for spring savings, Boger's is having a huge sale of up to 60% off on select brands. You'll find brand names like Clark's, Dansko, Vionic, New Balance, and Echo, all up to 60% off. Boger's is even offering great savings on select men's shoes for 60 years. Good old-fashioned customer service has been the key to Boger's shoe success. Stop by 1014 Park Street in 5 Points and experience the Boger Shoes difference. Your feet will be glad you did.
Hi, this is Dennis Prager. You and I will be having lunch together every weekday. We'll talk about what's going on in the world, and most important, we will talk about everything in life. Happiness, male-female relations, the meaning of life, is there a God? Plus, what is happening in the news. My motto is, I prefer clarity to agreement. The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon.
WBOB, The Answer. Stuck in traffic? WBOB has The Answer.
Smooth driving on the roads. They are looking good this morning. Watch out for the Main Street Bridge. It is still closed due to some construction work. 80% chance of showers through today. Breezy, high 86, 40% chance of rain tonight with partly cloudy skies, low 68. And some smoke tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 84. It is still hanging in 72 degrees, cloudy right here at WBOB AM 600. The Answer.
Let's return to Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Hey, everybody. We're back. Thanks for staying tuned with us.
Hey, near the beginning of the show, we talked about that sometimes you and I help people when they are out of town, and maybe the owner of the home who is local has passed on.
Yes.
And it's time to get rid of everything before the house goes on the market. Sometimes we help in arranging for getting the house painted and perhaps putting in new appliances and things like that.
Right.
But in getting rid of things, sometimes you get the help of an estate seller. So there are some hints that we give to hold a successful estate sale after you hire an estate seller. So there are some definite do's and don'ts.
Yes, indeed.
So we'd like to give you some of those do's and don'ts. How would you like to do the don't? Because you like to tell people, don't do this, right? You were a mom. You had 3 kids, and you said, don't do this, don't do this. You know, parents do that.
Are you saying I'm negative?
No, not at all.
I feel like you're saying I'm negative.
I think every parent...
That's not how I parent. I usually say, do this, do this, do this, do that. They find me as a nag, actually, because I'm always telling them what to do.
Oh, my mother said, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Well, maybe I should have said more don'ts, but I said a bunch of do's.
All right, why don't
Clean
you tell
your room.
everybody the
Brush your
don'ts with respect to don't do this if you're having an estate
Well, the first important thing about an estate sale is don't throw anything away, right? So, don't casually give items to your friends and family thinking that they're not really worth much. Let the estate sale pro review your assets before you decide to dispose of anything.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The other thing, when you have a house and you're getting rid of everything, a lot of people, in an attempt to save money, they'll turn off their utilities. They'll cancel their home insurance policy thinking no one lives there. Do not do that. So usually the local officials, they won't allow a sale to be held in a home that doesn't have running water or electricity. And also, you can be held legally responsible for any accidents that occur during the sale. So you definitely want to keep your homeowner's insurance policy still in effect. That's really important.
Until the sale of the home is completed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
We don't cancel anything till we transfer the deed.
Okay. What's next?
Don't remove items after the estate sale company's walkthrough. So doing so is likely going to breach your contract, and it could result in the cancellation of your sale. So removing items after they've been advertised for sale, well, it's unethical, and it could even result in legal action.
So if there's some beautiful piece of furniture that was, in the house for 40 years that you really want, you can't do that because the estate sale company is looking at the commission on the sale of that item. So if you want it, then take it out before the estate sale company comes.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't participate in pricing the items or conducting the sale. The estate sale company, whose fee is usually a percentage of the total proceeds of the sale, well, they have in-depth knowledge of current values, and they're going to price accordingly. Some companies may allow you to set a minimum price for a few special items. Also, family members should not be present during the sale, as they may reminisce with neighbors and other attendees, which actually can have a negative impact on the sale.
So get out.
Get out, get out, get out. We tell people to get out of their houses too. Sellers, get out of the house so the buyer can bond with the house. There's some real value in disconnecting from the house or your stuff.
Okay, what else?
Okay, so don't expect to be paid immediately after the sale. So the estate company will need time to make sure all checks and credit card sales clear and that there's no disputes about any items purchased. Now, this could take some extra time if you elect to sell some items online. After the sale, the company should send you a check with any fees deducted, and that's typically done within 30 days.
Yeah, like if you sell some TVs and it's purported that the TVs work and the person gets them home and it doesn't work, well, they're going to want their money back.
You think?
I would definitely think so. Okay. Yeah. All right, now for the do's. Do choose the right kind of sale because there are auction sales and then there are garage sales. So choose the best forum for your types of belongings. And Another one, make sure to get a written contract between you and the estate sale company. Don't go with a company that doesn't offer a contract. And before you sign, make sure that all the heirs and interested parties are in agreement with the sale plans.
That's important.
Also, schedule a sale as far as possible in advance. Now, some of these companies are booked months in advance. Now, if the first company you call is not available in your time frame, then just check with another company. And the best possible sale, the company must have sufficient time not only to advertise it, but also to price all the items. And it can take a couple of weeks to go through everything, because they'll go through and they'll price all the clothes, they'll price every dish, every glass, everything in that home to maximize your return. And as we said before, remove all of your family items, family heirlooms and items that you want to keep before the auction company or a sales company comes in. So that way they will know you're keeping these items, and they should not count that in the evaluation of what they think you are going to potentially net. Also, negotiate access to the home. Ask the estate sale company to commit to a certain time frame when they'll need to be in the home, because you'll want to make it available to buyer showings as soon as possible, and have an extra set of house keys ready to give to the company, as they're going to need frequent access to set up. So most will ask to give you another set of keys at this point, because they are accepting responsibility for those items. So that's how to have a successful estate sale.
Great advice, Howard.
And if you're going to put your house on the market during that time, you can. And a lot of times, the realtor, like us, will have brochures there so that
or we may even be there in case someone wants to inquire about purchasing the home.
That's right. Houses often get sold during the estate sale.
They do.
And we can certainly help with that and be available. So,
recap the contest. No one has called. That's surprising.
I don't believe this. You're not asking your Siri or Googling this. What is the earliest year that Mother's Day was celebrated in all of the 50 states? How hard can that be? Give us a call at 222-8255 or call us with any questions regarding real estate. All right. You know what? Bet you didn't know. That's a new feature here on Real Estate Radio. We actually done it a couple times, but Angela wanted to do that and tell you about what's going on. How is the market here in Northeast Florida? You know, I read things all the time on, in Realtor.com or in other publications about how the market is, and they talk about how it is across the country. But you know what? It doesn't matter how it is when you combined all of the country together. And I also read how it is in Florida. Well, how it is in all of Florida combined, that doesn't matter, because it's different in Miami than it is in Palatka, than it is in Tampa. But how is it here? So
you want it for the week, or you want it compared to last year?
Well, let's talk about how it is first. Well, we only have 2 minutes left in this segment, but how is it, real quick? You can do it for how is it this year compared to last year, year to date?
Okay, so 17 compared to 2016. The average list price is $324, which is up almost 10%. The average sales price is $239, which is also up almost 10%. So it's better.
How about that?
The number of pending listings is 9,189, and that's up 4% over last year.
And pending means it's under contract.
Under contract. Mm-hmm. The number of sold listings is 7,578, which was down about 2.5%. That's interesting, right? Prices are up, number of units are down. The number of new listings is down 2% at 12,018.
So we need more listings.
We do.
Prices
there's a
are
lot of buyers out there. And the number of active listings is down almost 6%. And seriously, y'all, if you're thinking about selling, It's a great time to sell. There's people out there actually making offers on houses sight unseen, subject to them seeing it.
We have realtors in our office that say, I have a customer that needs to find a house in this area between this price range, this square footage, because they just can't find one that looks good in the price range that they're looking for.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about selling, give us a call. We may have a buyer for you, or someone in our office may have a buyer for you right away.
Absolutely.
It is unbelievable how things are going. So that's our Bet You Didn't Know segment. Hey, we got lots more things coming up on the remainder of the show. Call us with your questions at 222-8255, and we'll be right back. Good morning, WBOB listeners. It's your realtor on the radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I want to thank you for tuning in with us for our 5th year now. It's been such a great pleasure to be on the radio with you, giving you advice on buying and selling, as well as answering your questions on the air. Thank you so much for the trust that you have in us as professional, experienced realtors with over 20 years of combined experience. We want you to know that when it's time to sell your home, we want to be your realtor. We will focus on your home, your family, and your time frame. Our team will customize a marketing plan to give you the best exposure to get you the best price and have the best selling experience possible. Whether it's a condo or a house, a short sale or a regular sale, a $200,000 home or a mansion, you will get the same great service. Call us at 421-7950 and join the multitudes of others that have experienced the Angela and Howard Team Advantage. One of the most critical parts of buying or selling your home is the very last process. That's the closing process. Angela and I recommend Watson Title Services. They have the experience to handle any issue that can come up, and there is never an upfront fee to the seller. Whether you are using a realtor with the sale of your home or not, always ask for Watson Title Service to handle your closing. We do. Call them at 461-3220. That's Watson Title Services. There's finally a mortgage lender in Jacksonville that sees financing differently. With 20 years experience, CMG Financial understands that the most important purchase in your life, your home, deserves the right mortgage. Tim McConnell at CMG Financial will work to customize the best financing option for you. Angela and I recommend CMG Financial to all our customers. Give Tim a call at 528-2103. That's 528-2103. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage, Inc., NMLS number 1820, and licensed as a mortgage lender servicer by the Office of Financial Regulation, number MLD 375, individual MLS number 181046.
Angela Walker and Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. not only come to you every Saturday morning, but they would also like to work with you when you need them the most. That is, when you need to buy or sell a home. They pride themselves in giving you their very best effort every day and in every way. There are many realtors in the First Coast to choose from. Let them show you the Howard and Angela Team Advantage. Call them at 421-7950 or email them at realestateradio@yahoo.com. This segment of Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard is brought to you by Watson Title Services of Northeast Florida. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Welcome back, everybody.
You're laughing.
I'm always laughing. You know, Alan, he keeps me laughing, our producer, so... We always have fun here, man. Doing this is fun stuff. It just is.
Well, one of the segments that we usually do is our numbers for the week, and we didn't do that. And at the end of the numbers, we do our applause for the people that.
There it is. There it is.
And he just said that
he was missing the applause. I'm like, applause me anyway. I'm awesome.
And nobody's guessed our contest, so because it's and we're in the last segment, so I'm just going to tell everybody what the answer is to the contest.
Let's talk about mothers.
And it was a kind of a trick question. So,
because you're a tricky guy.
Well, I'm not a tricky guy, but I would think that someone was going to look it up. So let me recap what the contest was.
Everybody's at the TPC except us, Howard.
Not everybody.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, the one little
what
family
was
I'm
the
helping
earliest
today.
year that Mother's Day was celebrated in every one of the United States? And I was thinking that people would look it up and they'd see that Woodrow Wilson in 1914 made a proclamation that made it a national observed day on the second Sunday in May.
Correct.
And that would be the wrong answer.
But it sounds like the right one, doesn't it?
It sounds like it.
But it was happening prior.
But it was a trick question because I
you're
said,
tricky.
what was the day that it was celebrated in each of the 50 states?
Yes.
And because each of the states had their own Mother's Day. And each of the states had their own Mother's Day in 1911.
So you could be in Florida and it'd be one day, and you could roll into Georgia, it'd be a different day.
Right. But
oh my
Woodrow
gosh.
Wilson,
You know what I would do? I would take
Go to
my
each
kids
state?
and go to every state on those days. Yep.
Now,
Feel
there
appreciated.
are over 100 countries. Here's some other trivia that's kind of
love it.
interesting. There are over 100 different countries that have some version of Mother's Day, and it's celebrated different days as early as the second Sunday in February in Norway and as late as December 22nd in Indonesia.
Wow. So what I
But
can do now is take my kids and go to different countries. Got it.
Right. But the most popular day
Yep.
is actually, of all the countries, the most countries have it actually when we have it.
Well, that's
Which is
because people like
the
to
second
copy
day.
greatness.
Well, I don't know. I didn't say that the United States was the first and then other countries copied it. I don't
well,
know
that's what
who
I'd like
did
to
that.
know.
Well, if you want to think that, you can.
Well, no, I like to think what's correct,
Well, I don't know.
not what people lead me astray to think.
I don't have that degree of history on it.
Okay.
But all I know is this. We should love our moms, respect
do.
our
I
moms,
miss
because they
mine.
do so many things for us and made us into who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's right.
and our dads, of course. All right, let's go to another little segment that we haven't done in a while before we do our hot deal of the day, which is our landlord and tenant question, tip of the week, I should say. And it was a question from a landlord who thought that his tenant had abandoned the rented property 1 week before the next rental payment was due, and he wanted to know if he could enter the property. And the answer is no, as the tenant is paid up and the premises still belongs to the tenant. After all, the tenant may be in the process of moving out, and that's even if the electricity has been turned off. Because again, just because the electricity's been turned off, the tenant is still the valid owner of that rental unit. I mean, he doesn't own it as in he pays property taxes on it, but he still has paid up the rent and is able to use the property. It's a little different answer if the rent is overdue. Then the landlord must go through the formal eviction process, but the landlord must really determine if the rental is abandoned. And it also depends on the type of property left there and the perceived value of the property left behind to determine whether or not it's really abandoned. So for specific questions on this, go to floridalandlord.com. That's FLA landlord.com. There are many ifs, ands, and buts to determine whether or not a property is abandoned or not. Obviously, if there's nothing there and it's past the time that the rent is due, it's probably abandoned. And the electricity off, it's abandoned. But if there's stuff in it, like stuff that he needs to live there, like a bed, it's probably not abandoned. But if there's just junk laying on the floor, it's probably not. But anyway, go to floridalandlord.com for specific information.
And did you say Florida is FLA?
FLA. Don't know whether I said that or not, but thank you for clarifying.
Well, it is such a great website, and Paul Howard's been on our show before, and he does such a fabulous job with that, and it's so helpful to landlords and tenants alike.
And it's always great to treat your landlord like they are your best customer. I own
treat your landlord or your tenant?
Treat your tenant like they're your best customer because they're paying your mortgage. And it's so important to do that.
Yep.
And like this week, I had a tenant move in or planning on moving in yesterday. And 2 hours later, she calls me up and she says, the refrigerator is not working. I mean, it's running, but it's hot. And when we were doing the walkthrough a week ago, it was working fine. And I said, oh my gosh, well, the thing's about 10 years old. So rather than fix it, I said, I'm just going to get you a new one. So yesterday I went to 4 different places to try and get a new one delivered. And the earliest it could be delivered is Tuesday. But the point is that I tried to get a new one delivered and went to 4 different stores to find her a brand new one to get delivered. That's how you treat your people.
That's right.
As best as you
Good
possibly
landlord.
can. All right.
Good landlord.
And Angela, we said earlier that it was in the 90s, and I think we broke some records because it was hot. You know what else we do when it is hot?
Yep.
That's
Talk
right.
about our hot deals of the day.
And we have a brand new one, and I want to start out with this because we, alluded to it a little bit earlier. If you like living in a really safe area, generally what people do is go to a gated community, and there are several of them here in Jacksonville, but one of them is in the beautiful community of Palencia, which is off of Phillips Highway, also known as Route 1 in St. Augustine. And part of it is guard-gated, part of it isn't. But it is a very exclusive community. It's a golf community. And we have a home there that is almost 4,300 square feet that we just wrote Thursday night. A 4-bedroom plus an office, that could be a bedroom, a flex room next to the kitchen, a huge bonus room upstairs, a balcony, 4.5 baths. Can you believe that? 4.5 baths. It's a David Weekley built home, and if you know about David Weekley, you know it is really, really special. So
quality
many
built and energy
built-ins,
efficient. Yes.
High ceilings throughout, a screen porch, gorgeous, gorgeous landscaping, paver driveway. I mean, this house is just fantastic. Also, what's special about Palencia is that there's an elementary school right there in the community.
I love that. There's quite a few elementary schools and communities in St. Johns County where you can just ride your bikes to school, ride with your children. They get to park their bike, and then you come back and get them when school's over. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really Americana.
Every one of these rooms in this house are big. I mean, it's just
huge.
Big.
Storage
open.
Is amazing.
I mean, the garage is extra, extra deep. It's like, most garages are 20 to 22 foot deep. This one is 26 feet deep. I'm going to be there today from noon to 2. And even though it's guard gated, just say you're going to the house, to the open house. The address is 100 La Mesa.
La Mesa.
100
The table.
La Mesa.
Isn't that what that means?
Palencia.
La Mesa. The table.
I think it is.
I think it does.
100 The Table. So come and meet me. I want to meet you guys.
It's a great house. It has a lot of special features. One of the things that's really interesting in this floor plan is it has this flex room, and it's right off the kitchen. So in this particular one, there's cabinets and, like a desk space. You could homeschool your kids. You could let them do their homework while you're cooking dinner. If you have younger children, that was a perfect place for them to play with their toys. So they're sort of integrated in the family room, but they're really not. But again, you could be cooking. They're doing their toys. It is all good. It's a lovely home. It's the only open house we're doing this weekend.
All right. Don't forget about the house in Orange Park on Village Way off of Kingsley, a 1980s vintage brick home, 2,300 square feet with a brand new roof and only a $75 per year voluntary HOA for $229.9. So call me about that with a hot tub in the floor in the Florida room. Anyway, come and see me at this open house today. I'd love to meet some of our listeners. Folks, we love doing this radio show and giving back to the community, and we want you to give back to your mothers today. So You need a professional on your side, whether you're buying or selling the most important financial transaction of your life. Angela and I are here to help you. We want you to have a blessed day. We're going to be back with you next week. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Do what she wants to do and make it special for her. Have a great one.